Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Anshul Sharma. I take the lecture of financial management for you. In earlier session, I have discussed about the capital budgeting techniques with all numerical problems. Now, I will start with another new topic. This is the cost of capital. Let's start. First of all, what is the meaning of cost of capital? Cost of capital means the minimum required rate of return for a company to satisfy the investors. You can say, if I'm running a company and I'm taking a loan from outside the world, then this is the cost of capital. I'm getting loan at the rate of 10%. This is cost of capital. If I'm getting the loan at the rate of 12%, this is cost of capital for me. If I'm issuing equity, then the rate of dividend which is declared by me, this is the cost of capital for me. For example, if I'm issuing preference share and ensuring to all the investors that after a completion of 1 year, I will pay the dividend at the rate of 10% per annum, then it means this is the cost of capital for me, which I have to maintain so that the share price of the company can be maintained. So minimum required rate of return of project, you can say this is the cost of capital. If I'm unable to earn the return more than cost of capital, then project will be financially not viable. So it means there is no need to continue the project, because with continuing the particular project, company is unable to earn a rate of return more than cost of capital. So you can say, if we want to execute or we want to continue with a particular project, then project should earn a rate of return more than cost of capital. So minimum required rate of return which a company has to earn, you can see this is the cost of capital. Whenever we have to calculate cost of capital, we have to consider these three factors. Number one, risk-free interest rate plus business risk premium plus financial risk premium. Now, types of cost of capital. There are two types of cost of capital: specific and explicit. So first of all, specific and overall, and number two classification is explicit and implicit cost of capital. According to classification number one, cost of capital can be specific and cost of capital may be overall. What is the meaning of specific? Specific means, suppose I am running a particular industry and I collect the fund from different sources. For example, I need rupees 1 crore. I am earning, or you can say I am getting rupees 20 lakh by the way of equity. I am getting 20 lakh by way of preference share. I am getting 20 lakh by the way of long-term loan, and remaining 40 lakh I am getting by the way of issue of debenture. So there are four sources. For equity shareholders, I am paying the dividend at the rate of 10%. To preference shareholder, I am again maintaining the rate of 10%. I am paying long-term loans at the rate of 12%. And for debenture holder, I am paying the interest of 14%. Suppose this is the way by which I collected the fund for my organization. I am repeating again. I collected 1 crore rupees, 20 by equity at the rate of 10%, 20 by way of preference share at the rate of 10% dividend. Again, 20 by issue of by project loan or long-term loan at the rate of 12%, and remaining 40 lakh I am getting by issue of debenture at the rate of 14%. So, if you have to calculate the specific cost of capital, you can say this is the specific cost of capital, 10%, 10%, 12% and 14%. This is the specific cost of capital. And whenever you have to calculate overall cost of capital, I am taking another example. Suppose for another firm, I am using another formula. Suppose I had to collect 1 crore rupees and I am getting 25 lakh at the rate of 10% by issue of long-term loan. I am getting 25 lakh by debenture, rate of interest 12% and 12%. I am getting 25 lakh by the way of equity and 25 by way of preference share. For equity shareholder and for preference shareholder, I have to pay dividend at the rate of 10%, and for long-term loan and debenture holders, I have to pay interest at the rate of 12%. Suppose this is the condition. So, if you have to calculate specific cost of capital, you can say 10%, 10%, 12%, 12%. But if you have to calculate overall cost of capital, you have to calculate weighted average cost of capital. Weighted average cost of capital means 10% into 0.25 plus 10% into 0.25 plus 12% into 0.25 plus 12% into 0.25. This will be weighted average cost of capital. So, you can say it will be around 10 plus 10 plus 12 plus 12. It means the overall cost of capital will be 11%, because I use the formula weights into amount, weights into amount, weight into amount, weight into amount divided by weights. So, the rate of return which we will get will be 11%. I am taking another small example. For example, I am getting a fund of rupees 1 crore for a project. I am getting 50 lakh by the way of equity, or so I am getting 50 lakh by the way of the preference share, and I am ensuring that I will pay the return means the dividend at the rate of 12%, and on the same time I am ensuring the debenture holder that I will pay the interest at the rate of 16%. Now I am collecting 50 lakh at the rate of 12%, and I am collecting 50 lakh by paying 16% per annum. Now, if we have to calculate overall cost of capital, it will be weighted average cost of capital. Now, weighted average cost of capital will be 12 into 0.5 plus 14 into 0.5. Now, 12 into 0.5 means 6 and 16 into 0.5 will be 8. So, overall cost of capital will be 14%. So, this is the difference between specific and overall cost of capital. So, I think it is clear to all of you that whenever we have to calculate overall cost of capital, we have to multiply amount with the weights so that we can ascertain the overall cost of capital. Now, another thing is the explicit and implicit. Explicit means whenever we have to pay to outside a party, then this is the explicit cost of capital. For example, I am getting 1 crore rupees, and for getting 1 crore rupees, I have to issue debenture, and I am paying the interest at the rate of 12% per annum. It means the amount is going outside to the debenture holders. This is the explicit cost. And implicit cost, you can say this is the opportunity cost. For example, after running some year, the organization has collected some amount of the profit. For example, I started an organization by investing rupees 1 crore, I am able to earn a profit of rupees 50 lakh. Now in first year, I decided that around 40 lakh rupees will be kept with the organization and rupees 10 lakh will be distributed to the shareholder of the organization. Now, after 5 years, suppose these policies continue, again in second year, I am again getting a profit of 50 lakh and I am distributing 10 lakh and I am keeping 40 lakh with the organization. Suppose this policy continue in next 5 years. Then after completion of 5 years, what will be the position? Position will be the organization will have 2 crore rupees in the pocket, or you can say in the cash box, and around 50 lakh it would have been distributed to the shareholder. It will be the scenario. Now, after some time, organization needs some fund and organization want to expand the business, and whenever the organization had to expand the business, it used the fund which was kept by the organization within the profit. Now this amount has been converted into 2 crore rupees. If we are using these 2 crore rupees, although we are not giving some amount to the outsider world, but if I am using these 2 crore rupees, it means this 2 crore rupees is not invested anywhere. So, if I am using this 2 crore rupees, I should keep in mind one thing, that if I am not using this 2 crore rupees, then this 2 crore rupees is earning some return, and minimum return which these 2 crore rupees can give to the organization is a risk-free return. For example, if I am not using 2 crore rupees, I would have keep in the bank, and bankers were ready to give me the rate of interest at the rate of 7%. This is the risk-free rate of return for me. So it is the minimum rate of return which is required if I want to use these 2 crore rupees of the organization. So this is the implicit cost of capital. You can say this is the opportunity cost of capital. As you know, what is the meaning of opportunity cost? Opportunity cost means if I am using fund, then this fund is not used anywhere. For example, suppose I have 1 lakh rupees, then I have different option. I can put this fund into stock market, and stock market can give me the return of 10%. Another option which I have in my mind, it was FD. If I put this fund in the bank, then bankers are ready to give me the rate of interest at around 7%. It means if I am not keeping my fund in the bank, I am losing 7%. If I am not keeping my fund in stock market, I am losing 10%. Another party again want to take this fund from me, and they are ready to give me the rate of interest at the 15%. It means if I am not giving the fund to the outside party, it means I am losing 15%. So this is the opportunity cost. Up now, if I am using this fund, then it means opportunity cost of fund is 15%. So if I am using this fund, I should earn more than 15% because the fund has already having the implicit cost of around 15%. So you can say implicit cost simply means an opportunity cost of the capital. It means if you are using the fund, it means you are not keeping the fund anywhere. And if you are not keeping the fund anywhere, it means you are losing something. This is the opportunity cost of the capital. You can say this is the implicit cost of capital. I think it's clear. Now, let's come on numerical. Next is cost of long-term debt. Now, we have to see the method calculation of specific cost of capital and calculation of overall cost of capital. Let us start first of all to calculate specific, and after that we have to calculate overall cost of capital for the organization. Let's start. This is the formula. As you know, whenever I am talking about the cost of capital, it means cost of long-term debt, cost of equity, cost of preference share, cost of debenture. Now, cost of long-term debt and cost of debenture. What is the difference between debenture and the bond? It is almost similar. Bonds normally issued by the government companies and debentures are issued by the private companies. But if you are talking about the features are the same. So, bonds and debentures are the same, and normally we are using synonymously, and the basic difference between bonds and the debentures I have discussed. Now, we will use it synonymously. Let's talk about the long-term debt. Whenever we talk about the long-term debt, it has two types. It may be redeemable and it may be irredeemable. Irredeemable and redeemable. What is the meaning of irredeemable and what is the meaning of redeemable? For example, I am running a company. I take a loan from a person. It is in the form of debenture. I am taking a loan in the form of debenture from a group of persons. Then what happens actually? Normally, when I take loan in the form of debenture, normally I take for 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. Suppose I am taking loan for 10 years, then I am giving a promise to this group of person. What type of promise? I am giving a promise that if you are giving me rupees 1 lakh, then I am assuring you that after completion of 1 year, I will pay interest at the rate of 10% per annum. It means if I am holding 1 lakh rupees, it means I am taking 1 lakh rupees from you and I will return after 10. What is the meaning? It means during the holding of rupees 1 lakh, I will pay you interest at the rate of 10%. It means if I am holding 1 lakh rupees, I will pay you 10,000 rupees. 10,000 first year, 10,000 second year, 10,000 third year, 10,000 fourth year, and in total 10 year, I will pay you interest of rupees 1 lakh. Number one, this is the interest payment. This is the interest payment. Next, after completion of 10 year, I am assuring you, after completion of 10 year, I will return the amount which I collected you at the initial stage. This is the amount of redemption. Now, I am returning the principal. So, whenever I am collecting the fund on these terms of condition, this is called redeemable bond, redeemable debentures. So, if I am summarize it again, then you can say in redeemable debenture, organization pays periodical interest till the date of maturity, and at the date of maturity, organization pays the amount of principal which the organization collected at initial stage. This is the redemption. This is the redeemable debenture. Because these are redeemable, so this is the redeemable. Now, another type of debt is irredeemable. In irredeemable debt means, again, I am running an organization. I collect rupees 1 lakh, but I am collecting suppose I am collecting rupees 1 lakh for 10 years, then in that condition, I will pay periodical interest only. At the maturity, I will not pay principal. So, what will be the system? In this system, I will collect rupees 1 lakh and after completion of 1 year, I will pay periodical interest. Whenever I am collecting this type of bond, normally the rate of interest which is charged by the individual will be higher. If I am taking same example, in that case, I should pay the interest at the rate of 20% per annum so that it may be comparable. Now, 20% means another example. Now, it's an example of irredeemable debt. If it is a case of irredeemable debt, if I am taking 1 lakh rupees, I will pay 20,000 per annum. It means if I use this 1 lakh rupees for 10 years, I will return 20,000 per year. It means total rupees 2 lakh. And in last example, I was also paying 10,000 rupees per annum and 1 lakh rupees at the end of 10 years. It means amount returned to group of investors is the same. Now it depends on the investor and it depends on the organization by which way the organization want to collect the fund, by the way of the redeemable or by the way of the irredeemable. But normally organization uses redeemable debenture and the household and the salaried class person use irredeemable debt. So if you want to take the example of irredeemable debt, you can take the example of home loan, you can take the example of car loan. These are the examples of irredeemable debt where we take the fund and we pay the equally monthly installments. We are not paying the amount of principal at completion of the stage. You can take the example of housing loan, you can take the example of car loan, and these type of the personal loans all are the example of irredeemable debt. You can say if you are paying equally monthly installment, you are a household, so normally you are using the irredeemable debt. Now this is the formula. Ki is equal to 1. Ki is equal to I into 1 minus T divided by B0. This is the formula of irredeemable debt. And here you can find Ki is equal to I into 1 minus T plus RV minus NP divided by N divided by RV plus NP divided by 2. This is the two formula for calculation of long-term debt. I is equal to annual interest payable, T is equal to tax rate, B0 is equal to net proceed, B0 and here NP or B0 are the same thing. B0 is equal to face value plus premium on issue minus discount on issue minus flotation cost. This is the formula. Now let's do some practical problem so that this formula may be clear. Simple formula है KI और KD. Some book write KI and some book write है KD for cost of debt. So KD is equal to interest into 1 minus T divided by net proceed, and another formula is KD is equal to interest into 1 minus T plus RV minus NP by N divided by RV plus NP by 2. Now let's do the problem. This is the problem. Here ABC Limited issues 12.5% debentures of face value of rupees 100 each. 12.5% debenture of rupees 100 each, redeemable at the end of 7 years. The debentures are issued at a discount of 5% and the flotation cost is estimated to be 1%. Discount 5, Flotation 1%. Cost of capital debenture, firm has 50% tax rate. Write down some important things. 12.5%, face value 107, flotation cost 5%, flotation cost 1%, discount on issue, it is 5%, tax 40%. Find out the cost of capital. Now let's do the problem. Now let's start the problem. And the problem we have discussed, it was around 12.5% irredeemable debt, and the time of redemption is 7 years. So first, write the information. 12.5%, face value 100, and 7 years, flotation cost 1%, discount on issue 5%, tax rate is 40%. So this was the information which was given in the question. This is the right way to do the problem, that whenever we have any question, first of all, we should write down all the information on a answer sheet so that it may be easy to solve the problem for us. Now, it is a case of irredeemable, it's a case of redeemable debt. If some are confused that how can we check this is a redeemable or irredeemable, whenever number of years are given to you in a question, it means it's a case of redeemable. And whenever number of years is not given, it means it's a case of irredeemable. Now, use the formula cost of redeemable debt is equal to interest into 1 minus t plus redemption value minus net proceed divided by n. Redemption value plus net proceed by 2. This is the formula. So these are very easy problem. Simply you have to use the formula and you have to put the value. No problem. Now, interest, rate of interest is given that the coupon rate is 12.5%. Whenever you have to given 12 rate, coupon rate to you, it means it's a rate of interest. And the rate of interest is always charged on the face value. Face value is given rupees 100. It means rate of interest will be 12.5% of 100. It means 12.5. Now, tax rate is given 40%. 40% means 0.40. 1 minus 0.40 plus redemption value minus net proceed. Redemption value is not given in the question. Whenever redemption value is not given in the question, we have to assume that face value will be equal to the redemption value, because no redemption value, so we are assuming that redemption value is equal to face value. This is the assumption. Now redemption value is 100 minus net proceed. Net proceed means this is the formula of net proceed. Net proceed is equal to B0. Net proceed is equal to face value plus premium on issue minus discount on issue minus flotation cost. Now 100 plus premium on issue. If we see the information given in the question, it's very much clear that bond was issued on 5% debenture and there is no amount of premium. So premium will be 0 minus 5. 5% of rupees 100. Of rupees 100, why of rupees 100? Because whenever we have to charge discount, it will be charged on the face value, and face value is given in the question is rupees 100. So 5% of 100 will be 5. So I am writing here 5. Last, flotation cost. It is given 1% flotation cost. 1% of rupees 100. It means it will be 100 minus 6 is equal to 94. So I am writing here 94. Divide by n. N means number of years. It's given in the question 7. RV, redemption value again 100 plus 94 divide by 2 is equal to 12.5 into 1 minus 0.4. 1 minus 0.4 means 0.6. So 12.5 into 0.6 is equal to 7.5 plus 100 minus 94 is equal to 6, and 6 by 7. What will be the amount? I have to take the help of calculator. 6 by 7 will be 0.85 plus 0.85 divide by 97. Now 7 just 5 into 0.6 0.85 8.35 divide by 97 is equal to 8.6%. So this is the cost of redeemable debt. I think it should have been clear to all of you. I am repeating again simply what I did. All the information was given in the question. So first of all, I collected all the information and simply write down here. After that, I use a simple formula to calculate cost of redeemable debt is interest into 1 minus t plus redemption value minus net proceed divided by n. Divide by redemption value plus net proceed by 2. Now, first of all, interest. What is the meaning of interest? It was given the rate of interest is 12.5%. 12.5% of face value. So 12.5% of 100 was 12.5. Now here 1 T. T is the tax rate. It was given in the question, tax rate is 40%. Here it is given, tax rate is 40%. So I use 40%. 40% you can write down 0.4. So I write here 1 minus 0.4 plus redemption value. Redemption value was not given in the question, and I explained that whenever redemption value is not given in the question, you have to assume that redemption value is equal to the face value. So I write down 100 minus net proceed. To calculate net proceed, we have a simple formula. Net proceed is equal to face value plus premium on issue minus discount on issue minus FC, flotation cost. So FV, face value was 100, premium 0, discount on issue 5, flotation cost 1, so net proceed was 94. Simply I write down 94, divide by N. N means number of year, it was given in the question, number of year was 7. So simply I divided by 7. And in denominator, it was given redemption value plus net proceed. So redemption value was 100, net proceed was 94, 100 plus 94 divided by 2. Now 7.5 plus 0.85 divided by 97, and overall cost of debt was 8.6%. I think it should be very much clear to all of you. Now let's do some another problem. This is another problem. ABC Limited issues 15% debenture of face value of rupees 1000 each at a flotation cost of rupees 50 per debenture, which is to be redeemed after 5 years at rupees 1200. The tax rate is 30%. Now let's write down the information which I have to use to solve the problem. It is given in the question that 15% is coupon rate, face value 1000, flotation cost rupees 50 per debenture, number of years and 5, redemption value 1200, tax 30%. Now let's do the problem. Again I am writing the information which I used. Coupon rate 15%, face value 1000, flotation cost rupees 50 per debenture, number of year 5, redemption value 1200, and tax rate is 30%. So this was the information. Now let's use the information. Same type of the problem and same type of formula will be used to solve the problem. KD, cost of redeemable debt, is equal to interest into 1 minus T plus redemption value minus net proceed by N. divide by redemption value plus net proceed by 2. Now, interest is given 15% of face value. In this question, face value is given rupees 1000. So 15% of 1000 will be 150 into 1 minus 0.30 plus redemption value given in the question is 1200 minus net proceed. Net proceed you have to calculate. Net proceed is equal to face value plus premium on issue minus discount on issue minus flotation cost. Now face value is 1000 plus premium on issue 0, discount on issue 0, flotation cost rupees 50. It will be 950. 950 divide by n 5. Redemption value 1200 plus net proceed. Net proceed is 950 divide by 2. This is 150 into 0.7. 105 plus 1200 minus 950 will be 250. 250 divided by 5 will be 50. 105 plus 50 divide by 1200 plus 950. It will be 2150. 2150 by 2 will be 1075. 1075. Now, let's take the help of calculator. 155 divided by 1075. It is 14.41. 14.41%. This is cost of irredeemable debt. So I think it should be clear to all of you. It's very easy numericals. Simply what I did, I write down the information which was given in the question simply on the board. Simply I use a formula and put all the information which was given in the question and simply we find the solution. Very easy problems. Now come on cost of preference share. I am continuing the topic because cost of preference share and cost of debts are almost same. As if we see the formula is almost same. We have discussed number of times about the preference share. I think you are very much aware about the preference share. So there is no need to talk about the preference share, because we have to calculate the cost of preference share. If we have to calculate cost of irredeemable preference share, the formula is Kp is equal to preference divided dividend by net proceed. And if we had to calculate cost of redeemable preference share, the formula is Kp is equal to preference dividend plus redemption value minus net proceed by n divided by redemption value plus net proceed by 2. So if you see, then there is a single change. What is the change? Whenever we had to calculate the cost of redeemable debt, here we had to write interest into 1 minus t. Interest into 1 minus t, and whenever we had to calculate cost of preference share, we had to write here preference dividend. There is no need to multiply with 1 minus t. Now let's come on the problems. These are the problem. Problem number 1. Assuming that the firm pays tax at a 30% rate, compute after tax cost of capital in the following cases: preference shares sold at par, perpetual bond sold at par, 10-year 8% 1000 bond sold at rupees 950. Now let's do it one by one. First, you have to find out cost of irredeemable preference share. Whenever you have to find out cost of irredeemable preference share, it's simple formula. Kp, cost of preference share, is equal to preference dividend divided by net proceed. Again, if you have to calculate cost of irredeemable debt, simple formula. Kd is equal to interest into 1 minus t divided by net proceed. Let's do the problem. 15% preference share sold at par, tax rate is 30%. 15% preference share, 15% preference share sold at par, tax rate is 30%. You have to calculate cost. Simple formula. Kp is equal to preference dividend divided by net proceed. Preference dividend is 15% of 100, because in this question it is not given that what is the face value. So we are assuming that face value is rupees 100. 15 divided by net proceed. Net proceed is equal to face value plus premium minus discount minus flotation cost. 100 plus 0 minus 0 minus 0 is equal to 100. Divide by 100, it will be 15%. So cost of irredeemable preference share is 15%. Next problem. A perpetual bond sold at par, coupon rate being 14%. Now you have to calculate cost of irredeemable debt, where 14% coupon rate, 30% tax rate. Coupon rate 14%, tax rate 30%. You have to find out cost of irredeemable debt after tax. So simple formula, interest into 1 minus T divided by net proceed. Same thing, because face value is not given in the question, so you have to assume face value is 100. Simple. Net proceed is equal to face value plus premium on issue minus discount on issue minus flotation cost is equal to 100 plus 0 minus 0 minus 0 is equal to 100. Now, interest is 14%, 1 minus 0.30 divide by 100. 9.8 divided by 100 is equal to 9.8%. This is cost of irredeemable debt. Now, next problem. Now, problem number 3. A 10-year 8% rupees 1,000 par bond sold at rupees 950. Here, two things are given to you. 1,000 par bond sold at rupees 950, 10 year. It means it's very much clear to you because number of years is given. It means it's a case of redeemable debenture. Now, if it's a redeemable, it's very much clear that face value 100 and market value is 950, coupon rate 8%, tax rate 30%. Market value 950, face value 1000, coupon rate 8%, tax 30%. This was the information and number of years and 10. Now, this is the case of redeemable debenture. So, write down the formula KD is equal to interest into 1 minus T plus redemption value minus net proceed by N divide by redemption value plus net proceed by 2. Now, in this question, face value is given to you, but net proceed is not given. So, we have a preference. What is a preference? First of all, if net proceed is given to you, then you should use net proceed. If it is not given, then you can use market price, and if it is not used, it's not given, then you can say you can use face value in place of net proceed. It means if given, then use net proceed. If it is possible and it is given in the question market price, then you have to use market price in place of net proceed. And if both the information is not given in the question, then you have to use face value in place of net proceed. This is the rule. Now again, simply apply the formula. Interest is 8% of face value. It means 8% of 1000, it will be 80. 1 minus tax, 1 minus 0.30 plus redemption value is not given in the question. So we will use face value is equal to redemption value. Redemption value is 1000 minus net proceed 950 divided by 10. Redemption value 1000 plus 950 by 2 is equal to 80 into 0.7, 56 plus 50 by 10, 5 divide by 975. 61 by 975. Let's take the help of calculator. 61 divided by 975. 61 by 975 into is equal to 6.25%. 6.25%. This is the cost of irredeemable debt. So I think today's session is clear to all of you. Now we have covered two things in today's session: cost of preference share and cost of debenture, irredeemable and redeemable. In next session we will cover cost of equity and overall cost of capital. Thank you very much.